Hey everyone, welcome to, I guess, what I'm going to call the fireside chat episode of Ultralife Today. I am one of your hosts, Josh Bellew.
Hi, and I'm Adam Payne.
Adam is the CEO of Ultra Botanica, lead inventor of this incredible technology that we call liquid protein scaffolding. You know, when I said the fireside chat, Adam, I thought about it and I thought, people are not that into presidents these days. That's probably not elevating our status in the world, right? Or maybe we can reinvent the fireside chat and bring back some life into that.
I guess we're not really near a fire, but we are near some sound baffling.
This is going to be a fun episode for both you and I, Adam. I've been on an 8-year interesting roller coaster ride with you on a subject called curcumin. A lot of people call it turmeric. That's actually a mistake. Curcumin and turmeric are not the same thing, although turmeric, as we know, by weight, Adam, I believe 3.14% of turmeric by weight is actually curcumin, and curcumin is where the magic, the actives, and the most studied, because, right, we're looking at 22,400 articles on PubMed about curcumin, but if you type turmeric and curcumin in, you get about 25,600. So obviously, curcumin has been the hot topic on PubMed.
Oh, it's totally been the hot topic.
It blows aloe vera out of the water. Vitamin C has about 3 times as much. Now, that's amazing that it's actually a third of vitamin C in the ranking now.
It is actually amazing.
That's
right?
astonishing.
And there's so much. It's one way to measure kind of the pressure or the interest on different substances is to dive into PubMed.
Yeah, PubMed.gov for people that are brave enough out there to read abstracts.
And to actually understand how much research has been done on these different substances to make them, it shows how much peer research has been put into it. One research paper is truly something that you can't understand, because
the difficulty of the process, going through the peer reviewed and then getting it into publication, it's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. I mean, it's a research paper is not just something that just pops out of nowhere. There has to be typically over a year of research goes into creating all of the data that goes into a research paper. And then not only that, but then they have to tie it into all of the other published research that's out there on a particular subject. It has to be unique. So it can't be something that somebody else has already done. And then they have to validate it in this process called peer review. So they submit the paper to a journal, and then the journal doesn't just say, "Oh, wow, we got a new paper, let's just publish it." They actually submit it to an editorial board, and they have scientists that are experts in their field review the paper for its academic quality, and then they'll give them feedback. They'll push 99.99% of the time, an academic paper gets pushed back, and they say, "Well, here's a hole, here's a hole, here's a hole. Go back and do more research."
So with me and my conspiratorial mind, I look at all of the research done on curcumin and I think to myself, because we know how much of this stuff is funded by the pharmaceutical industry, I look at that and I think, man, they have been trying so hard to figure out a way to make an amazing set of drugs out of curcumin. I have to believe that, because there's so much of it.
It's totally true.
Yes, so much of it.
And not only that, but they make not only the amount of research that they do about this stuff, Josh, it's the level of scientific research that goes into each paper is astonishing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've done poster presentations, right, at different scientific conferences. And a poster presentation is typically, it's the preliminary research that will go into maybe contributing to a paper.
And how many collective hours of research, just off the top of your head, went into our one poster that we presented recently at the Society of Integrative Oncology?
Hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Hundreds of hours. So let's just put it into context here. There's 26,000 published papers about turmeric and curcumin. Just on curcumin, there's 22,000 published research articles about curcumin. The amount of research that's been done on curcumin
And over
is
such a short period of time. It's basically about a dozen
in
years.
20 in
I
20
was looking
years.
at the spike,
In the last
and
20
it's
years.
just
It's
crazy.
20 years. It's true. It's truly just crazy how much research has been done in that space.
So, I was playing. So let's go back to Curcumin 101 and basics, because this is very important. I still meet people out there, Adam, that every day say, I love turmeric and I put it in my smoothie and I take this big scoop of powder and I put it in things and stuff like that. And yet I still run into people, Adam, and you know how many stores I've been in, how many people I talk to that are patients of conventional doctors out there that don't even know or have not even heard of curcumin. So let's rewind the tape a little bit. Turmeric is a root or a rhizome, right?
Right.
I believe 80% of it is grown in India, but you've got Pakistan, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Central America, you've got Vietnam, you've got all
Hawaii.
these other places. Yeah,
Hawaii.
all these other places that kind of make up that other 20% of it's grown. But
And most
just having turmeric root.
99% of turmeric is used in food. It's not used to make any kind of nutritional supplements or any medicinal products.
Yeah, our my favorite mustard, French's mustard out there.
It uses
Lots of turmeric to make that
turmeric,
beautiful bright yellow.
that color,
right?
and actually
Yep.
FDC number 3 is turmeric. It's curcumin.
So it's not as it's actually so well. Now that's nice to know that it may not be a synthesized artificial
Yeah,
color.
the color. It's one of the only natural colors out there.
Wow. See, I knew that I was going to learn something today from Adam. I had no idea it was going to relate to mustard, though,
Mustard.
and artificial color. So that's fun. So let's do a little bit more here and take a deep dive, Adam. We talk about the fact that roughly 3% of turmeric is curcuminoids, and there's 3 different ones. What are the 3 different curcuminoids
Oh,
that make up the
it's dimethoxycurcumin,
bis-dimethoxy?
bis-dimethoxycurcumin, and curcumin.
Okay, okay. And you've done a little history before and talked about these pan population studies that were done decades ago where they look at basically cultures around the world and they try to determine why there is less incidence of disease in specific populations. And then most often, again, it obviously, other than unusual environmental factors that might affect some of those areas, doesn't it oftentimes just come back down to what are they eating?
Yes. In fact, you're bringing up a great question and a point. So we know that that curcumin was essentially was discovered because there were certain populations on the earth where the incidence of Alzheimer's, cancer, and later they learned diabetes was less. And it had nothing to do with the genomic part. It had nothing to do with the DNA of the population. It had nothing to do with the geography of the population or the environment, which is those are two very tied close together. What they learned was that it was something in the daily diet that was contributing to lower Alzheimer's, lower cancer rates, and ultimately longevity. People living past 100.
Well, and let's define longevity in a culture like India in a different way. It's not just living longer, it's living better longer. Because if you've got a lower incidence of these major diseases, then the quality of life is so much improved as well.
Yeah. I mean, people are happier. They're living better, longer lives, and by and large, they're thriving more. I mean, just lower cancer, lower Alzheimer's, lower diabetes, living longer lives. So when they cut all the noise out of the equation, the one thing that rose to the surface was the presence of turmeric in the daily diet, and then that started all of the research on what's in turmeric.
Right. What is that active? Is there a magic bullet in turmeric? And I have to interject one thing here, Adam. I'm a huge believer that when God puts something together naturally, there's so many beautiful cofactors, there's so many different phytochemicals and things like that, and enzymes naturally present that you would find in turmeric, and yet when they isolated curcumin, they really did find that it was the magic. It was what was making things happen.
Yep.
And so I have really gotten fascinated with curcumin as an isolated ingredient and curcuminoids and what they do. And I dare people to do this. Go out to pubmed.gov, PUBMED.gov, type curcumin, and then type any organ in the body, type any disease, and I dare you to not find some study that has been published on almost every disease or every organ system as it relates to curcumin. And you'd like to think, Adam, oh, well, we're going to find a bunch of negative press. Guess what? You don't.
You don't?
You just don't find them going, oh my gosh, other than the blood thinning effects, it just seems to be wide open as a generally accepted beneficial plant bioactive for the body. But
it is
we do have
astonishing.
struggles, though. And here's what I found. So I got on PubMed this morning and spent some time there. And you know what was so interesting, Adam? In every incredible headline that I found for research article after research article after research article, it always said, however, there is this limiting factor about curcumin due to its very poor absorption and lack of bioavailability. So there needs to be further exploration on everything from nanoparticle to unique kinds of combining it with fats and all kinds of different things that they've tried that you do find on PubMed. So it is still one of those things where it's like there's a promise of curcumin that is amazing. But what did you and I learn as we began to talk to people 8 years ago that were doctors, that were nutritionists, that were compounding pharmacists who were selling curcumin? What did we find out when we asked them about results?
Ho hum.
Ho hum. It was like infrequent if it worked, and many times very delayed results from the use of it. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
Oh, it was typically, the results that typically we would hear from people was there was a loading time of at least 2 months for most people before they would start to be able to report on any kind of clinical results. And we see that, the BCM95 studies.
And we want to let you know, we're huge fans of people like Terry Lemerand of Europharma, Terry Naturally. Yep. He's done so many breakthrough things for the industry of supplements, introducing various things, making things like glucosamine and chondroitin popular, MSM, independent health food store people love this man. So we have nothing but good to say. So there are some really elegant technologies that people have experimented with, right, Adam?
Oh, absolutely.
Out there. And his would be one, the BCM95. It hit the shelf. It kind of took over in the curcumin space, a very expensive product, which has kind of come down in price over the years a little bit.
Has it?
Oh, yeah, it has. Well, let me say this. It's come down a lot in price. It's still the most expensive thing I'm aware of on the health food store shelf.
You know, and I think it's only selling because it has that I'm the super expensive child on the block kind of aura to it.
It's got a lot of mystique, and I do run into people that it does work fair, but historically, though, again, it's a period of time.
They've done a lot. You know, they've
spent a
their
lot
formulation
of money on clinical research too.
Right. You know, the original BCM95 technology, which most of their product is based upon, they've actually expanded into other technologies over time. It's a ho-hum technology. It improves the absorption of the curcuminoids by about a factor of 2.
Okay.
If you dig down in the literature, instead of having to take 8 grams of curcumin in order to get any kind of result.
Let's put that in perspective. That would be 16 500 milligram capsules.
Right.
Who's going to make a meal
nobody's going to do
out
that.
of capsules? Okay.
So you have to take only 8 capsules in order to get maybe to experience a result. That's not saying it. I'm not saying it's not effective. It takes a long time for you to accumulate enough of the curcuminoids in your body for it to have an accumulating effect. And that's assuming that you're doing it religiously, taking it every day, because this stuff clears out of the body pretty quick.
Okay, with a couple of minutes left till our break, we did some comparison studies initially with an off-the-shelf brand that you and I admit, and most doctors we even know, say it's the best one at the shelf, and that's the Curcumin technology out of Japan, right?
Yep.
I think.
It's a great technology.
Yeah, and again, it's one that, our friend Joe Tippins,
He used
he
to recommend.
found and
Yep.
used to really recommend that. So on a capsule per capsule basis, because it is an elegant technology, but on a capsule per capsule basis, what did you find in your murine studies? Murine, fancy word for mouse studies,
Mice.
right?
Our
For
mouse studies.
What did we find on a capsule per capsule basis with just our original product with the orange lid UltraCur?
Oh, it's boy, it's 6 to 1.
Right.
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 Yeah.
So one capsule of original UltraCur is the equivalent of a blood level of a Theracurmin product of 6 of those.
Six
basically.
of those, right, on an equivalent basis.
Wow.
Now that's you have to be fair to the Theracurmin technology. One capsule of Theracurmin is about 30 milligrams of curcumin in their formulation.
They have made into a bioactive
Yeah.
compound.
Yes, they've made it into a product that actually gets into the body. It's 30 milligrams of nano-sized curcumin particles that have been coated in this gum gaddy, which
Okay.
allows them to be dispersed. They don't aggregate. It's an elegant technology. So that's the equivalent of about 2 capsules of our original formula. 2 capsules of our original formula will provide 30 milligrams of bioactive, bioavailable curcumin. And so it's 5 to 1 of one to the other. So that would be, 1 capsule of the Theracurmin's about 2.5 capsules of our original formula.
Okay.
The Theracurmin's a great technology. You can get results with it. The problem is it causes a lot of gastric upset in people.
Yeah, we're going into a break right now. This is Ultra Life Today. I'm Josh Bellew. I'm hanging out with Adam Payne, the CEO of Ultra Botanica. We're talking all things curcumin today. It's an inexhaustible subject, but we're going to take a hit on a bunch of other interesting topics.
Yeah,
that
and
are
I want to
available
come
out
back to
there.
Theracurmin in just a second
Yeah.
because when you compare it to our Pro capsule,
Yeah,
right after the
let's-
break, we'll talk about
We'll
that.
do that. We'll be right back.
Our mission is to take nature's most beloved botanicals and enhance them with our liquid protein scaffold technology. This helps it reach your cells faster and better. With exponentially enhanced bioavailability, you'll feel better every day. Ultra Botanica, the feel-good curcumin.
Welcome back to Ultra Life Today, Part 2 with Adam Payne and Josh Bellew. We're talking all things curcumin, the evolution of curcumin, the discovery of curcumin as it relates to the medical research world. We've got so much more ground to cover, Adam. We were just coming out of the last segment
Really?
talking about
I
the
thought we got
Theracurmin-
everything.
We were
Haven't
talking
we
about
done
the
it?
Theracurmin Oh, you've got to be kidding me, right? We could go all day. So we were talking about Theracurmin technology, and of course we had an original product that when I met you 8 years ago, there was just one product.
Yeah.
But you already had things in the innovation pipeline because you had been experimenting with liquid protein scaffold technology with a variety of different types of proteins as well as amino acids. And we did come up with the
Right.
very next product we had that was the major curcumin hitter was for the professionals out
Yep,
there,
it's
credentialed health professionals.
It's our UltraCur Pro.
UltraCur Pro.
Right, and so that one capsule of UltraCur Pro provides 60 milligrams of absorbable curcumin.
On a capsule per capsule
It's
basis
4
with
times-
our original orange
It's
lid.
4 times more.
It's 1 equals 4.
Right, and so just comparing that to Theracurmin,
Smaller
you'd have to,
capsule too,
right,
so
you'd have to
easier
do-
compliance.
You'd have to do 10 Theracurmin capsules to get the equivalent of 1 professional capsule.
Yeah, and because we know there's a lot of individuals out there that know of us because we do some products that facilitate supporting healthy cells, differentiation, proliferation, that are for individuals that are dealing with active cancers. When we're talking about the Pro product, please don't go out and try to get the Pro product because the N-acetylcysteine scaffold in that product has an unhealthy relationship with reactive oxygen species in the body.
Cancers, right.
So we have other products that you can look on our website about that. But again, We're not doctors. We're not prescribing. We're not telling you to do something. We're simply talking about curcumin today. And we're talking about all this incredible information you find on PubMed, as well as what Adam and I have experienced for literally 8.5 years now with
But
thousands
Josh,
of people and hundreds of doctors worldwide.
we got to go back to the kind of the foundation here.
We do.
The curcumin buzz.
Well, okay.
Come on, we have to talk about the curcumin buzz.
Okay, so Adam and some friends are sitting around the table. One guy is a guy named B.G. Currian.
BG.
He's a PhD researcher at Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation. You've got Dr. Hal Schofield is kind of
On the
off of the
side,
thing.
yeah.
And Adam says something to B.G. that literally probably made his hair stand on end.
It did.
B.G. goes, "We've got this liquefied version of curcumin and it's in a molecular form, Adam, now. And we just know that in this molecular form, it's going to get in the bloodstream." And Adam's like, "Great. Do you have jars of it? Let's take shots of it."
Oh no, even worse than that. I said, BG, yeah, we took some of what you made and we took shots of it yesterday.
And he thought you were going to die.
He was like, "You can't do that.
We haven't done LD50 studies.
We
and stuff,
we
right?
haven't studied the safety of this formula in humans." And I was like, and he was all serious.
Of course he was.
You know, because in the medical and the research world, you're never going to test a substance that's been in the research labs on humans until you've done animal studies and toxicity studies and all this work. But you know what? Curcumin is one of the safest substances ever studied on the planet. They've tried to study a toxic dose of curcumin. They've tried by overfeeding turmeric and curcumin to animals, and they have never found a toxic dose of curcumin. So when BG was getting all higher than thou on me while I was telling him that we took his liquid curcumin, this was like the predecessor of the ultra LPS technology. I said, BG, it's safe. There's never been a known toxicity. And he was like, yeah, I guess you're right. But then I said, BG, it's astonishing. We all got something called, we call it the curcumin buzz. And there was something about it. And most people, when they first try either the original product, like 2 capsules of the original.
Especially the original, because of how quickly it is fully absorbed into the bloodstream.
Especially on an empty stomach, you'll get this, within 5 minutes, you'll get this kind of like buzz going on.
Just talk about this kind of well-being, kind of enhanced cognition kind of thing.
It's not bad. It's not like it's not like an alcohol buzz or a THC
caffeine.
buzz.
It's not
a caffeinated buzz, but it's kind of like this lightheaded, kind of not negative, not too positive, but we all felt it. We had taken the shots of solubilized curcumin, and each of us around the table were like, "Are you feeling that?" So I knew 2 things that were happening here, Josh. One, it was getting into our bodies.
BBB, it's not the Better Business Bureau, is
right.
it?
It's the blood-brain
There you
barrier.
go.
And
All
the
right.
fact that we were feeling it in that way meant that those curcumin molecules were getting past the blood-brain barrier and getting into our
And by
central
the way,
nervous
we've done a
system.
permeability study now to prove that
Yep.
is actually
Yep.
true
Yep.
about
Yep.
UltraCur.
It was done at the University of Texas. We did a permeability study on the gut. We did actually it wasn't us, it was another research group, and did a permeability study on the brain, and it's getting in. And that was done on our liquid LPS product, our
Right.
curcumin bound to whey protein. So not only do we know that it's getting into the body, but it's actually getting into the central nervous system here.
So, Adam, I want to say something, because one of the things I began to find as I began to meet individuals out there that were taking curcumin, and this is going to move us kind of back into the last thing I think you wanted to say about theocarmin, and that is, I began to hear individuals say, I was taking curcumin, I was taking large amounts of it, or not even large amounts of it, and saying they were having gastric upset. They were having stomach issues.
A lot of it.
That is one of the things that I'm so proud to be able to say, because I have people all the time. We've got new pharmacies and new doctors and health professionals onboarding all the time for their patient populations. And they're like, what are the adverse events associated with UltraCur? I need to know. And I said, well, number one, and this is important, we put it right on the label, Curcumin is noted in the medical literature to affect the FXA node of the thrombin pathway.
Oh, very good, Josh.
Meaning it will thin the blood.
It does thin the
right?
blood, yeah.
But then when you guys came out with what I call like this literally light years rocket fuel type version of curcumin that's hitting the bloodstream at elevated levels, it's like we do really want to monitor that. So we do put a warning on the label related to anyone taking prescription blood thinners. Please consult a doctor first. However, what I thought was really cool, Adam, is, in 8.5 years, our dear friend Mary Jane Fry, by the way, who's going to be coming in to do some recordings with us in about 2 weeks.
Awesome.
She called me a couple of different times over the years and said, I do have a client that has ended up with some stomach issues. And she says, and I'm not sure whether it's because they're high toxic anyway, detoxing them from other different things. But I have found, Adam, almost a zero incidence of Herxheimer reactions with people taking UltraCur, which has been so cool to me because that is one of the things that does scare a lot of people off from standard curcumin. It doesn't absorb, it sits in the gut, and what do we have happen? People struggle.
It's astonishing how many problems come because people don't understand kind of the impact of the nutritional supplements and the pharmaceuticals that people are taking on their human condition. I think we're the only curcumin company that's been reporting on this blood thinning aspect to it. Because,
I've never seen it on another bottle out there.
Well, and you know why? It's because we're getting into the body and most of the others aren't. And we see this effect, especially with the Pro product. The big reason why we only sell the professional grade product only through clinical practices is because this can be an issue.
We want a doctor consultation involved in that.
You take more than three of these in a short period of time, you're going to bruise.
Yeah, it is indeed possible. You, me, our friend Kyle Drew of Super Health fame. He and I experiment with large amounts at different times of different products of ours. And so we have gotten to the point where we did notice we were bruising easily. And the big remedy to that, back off.
Back off. You have to back off.
Back off of what you're using.
And it very quickly reverses. So don't overdo it.
So let's do something here with,
and there's no need to go above and beyond the levels that where people are bruising.
Well,
and
I tell people, Adam, we oftentimes tell people on the front end, especially as it relates to our products, maybe like the original UltraCur or the advanced, you can dose load a bit that first 15 to 30 days if you're really struggling with discomfort in your body, mobility issues. But then I tell people, once you have achieved the result you want, play with the amount you're taking to see what helps you maintain those results.
Absolutely.
Because I have many people that take less after that first month, and maintain their results. Okay, we've got about 4 minutes left, and this is a really cool thing for us to do. Before we start hitting headlines of really interesting research studies, let's talk a little bit about BioPerine, piperine, black pepper extract.
All the same thing.
One thing you do find among people that know turmeric and know curcumin, they go, my turmeric and curcumin, by golly, by Yemeni, it has black pepper extract in it, or piperine, or BioPerine.
Yeah.
Why did you and I key in on that in the beginning, Adam, and then you took a deep dive, and you go, wait a minute. This is inappropriate to put in a supplement, especially with individuals that historically the population taking, the age demographic taking curcumin and turmeric, they're frequently 50 plus, and they're on what? A lot of medications. Let's talk about this a minute.
Okay, so most people have a fable going on in their head about what piperine, this black pepper extract, is doing. Most people think that black pepper extract is improving the absorption of curcumin molecules into the body.
It's turning curcumin into an intravenous injection,
right? And they have all of these great theories.
What they think.
So I even have one of my favorite friends, Boris Gorenstein, who is a naturopath. He still believes this.
Super sharp guy.
He thinks, okay, his fable goes as follows. Well, black pepper is an irritant, and it's inflaming the tissues a little bit in the gut
lining,
and that's improving the permeability of the gut. And that's why curcumin is absorbing more. Well, it's actually, if black pepper was irritating the gut, that would actually decrease the absorption of nutrients. That's what Crohn's disease is, or celiac disease is doing. It's causing microinflammation in the villi in the small intestines, and that decreases absorption. So guess what, folks? Black pepper does not improve the absorption of anything into the body. What it is doing is it is inhibiting a key enzyme that is responsible for the breakdown of compounds like curcumin through a process called glucuronidation. And there's an enzyme in the liver called glucuronidase
Yep.
that is responsible for cutting curcumin molecules, cleaving them into two parts. And it also is responsible for the cleavage of about 40 different pharmaceutical products.
Well, now products are classes.
Classes
of
of
drugs,
products.
'cause now we
Classes.
get into hundreds
Classes.
of thousands of drugs.
Classes.
Yeah.
And it's all that piperin is doing is inhibiting that enzyme. So it's not improving the absorption of curcumin into the body. It is slowing down the rate your liver is eliminating curcumin from your body.
Being able to clear it or process
So
it,
what?
right,
So
through
what
the
it's
liver?
doing artificially is it's increasing the amount of curcumin that you have in your circulation by decreasing the amount that gets chewed up. And so, yeah, it's elegant. If it didn't affect all of these other pharmaceutical classes of drugs, I would say it would be really cool. But the fact remains, piperin can affect pharmaceutical products. And so if you're on any pharmaceutical drugs, please stay away from piperin unless you clear it with a good clinical nutritionist.
Yeah, and it comes
or
under the names
naturopath.
of piperin, bioperine, black pepper extract. It'll even say like something Niger on it, which is just the Latin name.
Pipper Niger, yeah, that's
pepper
black
Niger.
pepper.
And we have a lot of, and I will say this, we have a lot of close friends of mine, Adam, that are naturopathic or they're functional integrated people, and they say, hey, we've seen black pepper as a culprit that simply does irritate the stomach lining, and
It
it's
does.
negative for our patients to
So-
have an irritated stomach.
Gratefully to God and the universe, we don't need black pepper extract for people to experience the benefits of curcumin. We have so much curcumin is absorbed through our LPS technology.
And it does it so quickly that it doesn't have a chance to sit in the gut and create gastric upset,
It
right?
doesn't create gastric upset. We get in so much of it that we get a bolus of it all over the body, and people experience a difference. 70% of people that take our product, Josh, just the original, experience a dramatic benefit within a week. 55% of people within 24 hours, and a whopping 35% of people that take UltraCur, the original formula, experience a dramatic benefit within 2 hours.
Yeah, and that survey, by the way, was done with original UltraCur and only 2 capsules a day. This is Ultra Life Today. Adam Payne, CEO of Ultra Botanica, lead inventor on the LPS technology we've been discussing. I'm Josh Bellew.
Please come back.